Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Play Games podcast. This is August 21st, 2015. I'm your host, KJ48, and with me I have my co-host, co-owner of Kill Servers, Pam.
Hi there.
How's it going, Pam? As you can see right now, we have no one else. So it's just me and Pam today. So, I think we'll muddle through. What do you think?
We'll figure it out somehow.
What have you been playing this week?
Factorio, actually. Night Wrath reached out and decided he was going to give me a Factorio training program, and so I've been playing some Factorio this week.
Was there like some big updates or something, or?
Well, they're up to 12 now, which they're not quite in space. They've gotten to where the rockets launch now to go into space, so we've been kind of playing up to that.
You're gonna be able to go into space? Like, is that the end game, or is that just like you'll?
You're gonna be able to launch into space, and once you get into space, then you can take stuff that you've built on the planet up to space and build yourself a whole space station.
Oh.
And then you can build rocket ships, and then from there you can fly to other planets and take resources from other, build out a whole new factory on another planet and take all the resources from there and go back into space again and build more space stations.
So, I didn't know about that. And that has multiplayer in it?
Yes, yes.
Is it like, have you played it? You played it with Chris?
Yes, yeah. I've been playing it all week with him.
For those of you who don't know what Factorio is kind of like a top-down, like kind of isometric view, right? Like,
right. It's a logistics game is probably the best way to put it, with survival basics in it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you start off on a planet, and basically what you have is you have resources scattered throughout the planet. You're kind of like looking down on it. And you can you have to basically get those resources, put them where you need them to be, and smelt them and make newer resources and different things, just like every other game. But you don't carry them around. You get them moving around by conveyor belts. And you have little arms that pick them up and put them in certain places. So you could put an arm like right by it, and it'll take off one conveyor belt and put it to another. Maybe if you want a conveyor belt going one way and one going another way.
And eventually you can build train tracks to move stuff around, and then robots. You can have flying robots that move around you. Once you have the robots, you don't even need the belts sometimes.
I should be playing that again. I don't know why the hell I stopped. That game's really in depth though. It gets to be overwhelming at times.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, we had 5 people in there playing it the other night, and we were still like, go here, go there, go do this, go do that. Everybody's setting up something separate, and we still had more than enough to do.
Yeah, it is like an assembly line. Like, you'll start off and there'll be like coal, okay? And then over there you'll have copper or something like that, or iron somewhere else. And then what you do is you go up to the coal and you'll set up like an extractor, and an extractor goes along the coal and picks things up and puts it behind it. So if you just have an extractor there, it'll just place stuff in a pile and it doesn't do anything. What you do is you make tracks for like a conveyor belt, and then you run the tracks where you want them to go. So as it picks up the coal, it'll put it on the tracks, and then it'll start going along the tracks. And then what you do is you have the iron going another way, and you have the copper going another way, and then you have the meat basically at this is all very basic.
Like at a furnace.
Yeah, at a furnace, and then you smelt the iron and the copper, and then you have arms take it out of the furnace and put it on another conveyor belt that leads to your assembly line. You have it's got like a science tree that you need to like build. Like, what are those things called that you have to build for the science?
Well, you build all the intermediary production, like your plates and your coils and all of that, and then you build your science packs from the science labs that take together all these things that you've built in your little factories, and you put them together in your science labs, and then you produce those, and then they build bigger things and bigger things and bigger things.
Helpstream, you should be able to put links. If you could find a link to there you go. Thank you, Dread Pirate. Yeah, that game was really a lot of fun back in the day, and now like that sounds really, really cool. And knock on wood, I haven't checked, but I don't think it's huge on YouTube right now. It could be a really good game for me to play.
This week, Chris, there are a couple people that are playing it that have been sending him people when they're Europeans, so they've been sending him when they close off. They send him people because there are just not that many people playing it anymore. It's pretty good.
Good. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I've been doing. That and taking care of my daughter. So I've been kind of busy.
Okay. I thought you had another game you want to talk about. You going to talk about it in a different section?
Ah, well, that was new games. Yeah. Thanks to Dread Pirate, I know about this game called Age of Survival. We were looking at it just before the show started. Um, Survival game, takes place in Africa, where you've kind of gotten yourself lost along the savannah of Africa with all the African animals, rhinos, hippos, all of that. And you've got to survive. It's a survival, crafting, hunting, building game. It's going to be released on the 25th of this month.
Yeah, I was checking it out after you told me. And from what you understand, it's not going to be like the typical like PvP Grief Fest. It's going to be like more co-op type things, or like.
Right, my understanding, I think Dredd just posted a link to it, and Dredd can probably speak to this, that right now it's co-op. They don't have dedicated servers. They're working towards that, but right now it'll be co-op, so you're not going to be in a big server with a Grief Fest going on.
Yeah. I mean, like whenever I hear these new survival games come out, my first instinct right now is to think or to ask or to find out: is it going to be focused on PvP, or is it going to be focused on single player or co-op multiplayer? I like co-op multiplayer. I mean, 7 Days to Die did it perfect for me. Ark actually did it pretty well. I really like the way Ark did it. Rust, not so much. This is a different game though, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just not what I'm looking for. So that's what I always ask for that game. That game looks really good. I checked it out on Steam right before the podcast. I never even heard of it. And nobody I know knows about it. One person I don't recognize the name on my friends list, and Dexy are the only people who are aware of it on my friends list. And I have some big YouTubers on my friends list. So that's really, really good. It looks good. The graphics look really awesome on it. And man, there's like, it's like, wait, it's in Africa?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So if you watch the trailer, you can see along the as the sun's setting in the background, you can see the African elephants walking along the edge of the plain. It's really cool.
Man, that looks really good. Is that it for you, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I know about right now.
Okay, all right. Well, I've got a long list of things I want to talk about in this part. Empyrion. I've been playing Empyrion. Now you guys know what I've been playing. You know my Let's Plays and stuff. But Empyrion, for those of you who don't know, Empyrion is like, I don't like comparing games because a lot of people hate doing this. But just a quick thing, it's kind of like Space Engineers with planets, but it's different. It's not a copy of Space Engineers. It's not a ripoff. It's its own thing. But yeah, Empyrion. So so I died on the moon in Empyrion, and apparently, when you die, you can respawn at like a medical station, or you can respawn at your starting station on Omnicron. Now I took everything off Omnicron. There's nothing on Omnicron. There's like a few machines on Omnicron, but there's no resources of any kind. So I died on the moon, and I was really confused on why I couldn't spawn at a medical station. I had one in orbit around Omnicron on the Castiel space station. Well, I talked to the devs, and apparently you can only spawn in at a medical station that is on the planet you're on. Basically, from what I understand, they didn't tell me this, but from what I understand, if the planet you're on is the only thing loaded, space is not loaded and other planets are not loaded, and I'm thinking you can't spawn there because of that. Now, they said that that's going to change, and it's not going to stay like that. But right now, if you guys are playing Empyrion, I know a lot of you are, you need to make a base on whatever you're going to be going to. Like, if you're going to go to the moon and explore, just make yourself a small base. Put a power down, put a medical station, put a crafting station. I went on the moon, and the worst part about it is my hard drive failed, and I lost 2 videos of this. So you'll never see it. But I landed on the moon, I landed my ship, and I was pretty far away from the ship I was trying to go to, and I knew there was guns on the ship. It was a crashed capital vessel. Alright? And I landed, and no guns were shooting at me. I started walking up to the capital vessel, and then some guns started shooting at me. So I'm shooting my rocket launcher at the guns, and then all of a sudden, the guns start shooting at my ship behind me. It was like, I don't know, 100 yards behind me. It was so far back. I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me? They start shooting my ship. So I'm trying to shoot the guns on top of this capital vessel, and they just, one was at a bad angle. I really couldn't get it. I eventually got it, but man, it took too long. I couldn't even run back to my ship in time because it was so far back there. So I run back to my ship, and the power supply was gone. I had nothing to do. I had no crafting on the planet. I had nothing on the planet I could craft with. I had no power. I had nothing. I was dead. And I ended up spawning on Omnicron. I killed myself thinking I would spawn in the Castiel space station, where I had another vehicle. The what did I call it? The Winchester? Yeah, that's what I call it. The Winchester. That I could have flown down to the to the moon to fix my ship. I could have brought down parts to fix it. Well, nope. You start on Omnicron. I had nothing on Omnicron, and that was what I did for the next video, and the next 2 hours of my life, and then the video after that. It took a long time to come back from that. Guys, learn from my mistakes. What you need to do is, you're going to have a base on Omnicron because that's where you start. What you need to do is, if you're going to leave Omnicron, you're going to take everything out of there. Leave, power supplies, leave an RCS unit, leave everything you need to make a ship. Okay, what you're going to need is, you're going to need a generator, you're going to need a fuel tank, you're going to need an RCS unit, you're going to need about... It depends on how you build the ship. I use 10 directional thrusters, 2 for each side, 2 left, 2 right, 2 down, 2 up, 2 forward, and then I make 2 regular thrusters for my lift from the back, and that's enough to make you a really nice ship. Make sure in a cockpit and and a small vessel starting block, because I'm telling you, you do not want to be caught on Omnicron with nothing. You will cry yourself to sleep at night. Pam, I don't suppose you watched that video, did you?
No, I didn't watch the video, but I know what you're talking about. That's one of the reasons that they can't do dedicated servers yet, because the rest of the world is only loaded. The only part of the world that's loaded, Dredd was explaining this to me, is where the host is. The rest of the world isn't loaded, so that's the problem. If the host isn't on there, and there's no way for a dedicated server to be that host.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not upset with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
I just wish I knew, and it's on me. I wasn't prepared, and learned from my mistakes. It was a nightmare.
I'd even build a secondary ship and just leave it behind.
You could build a ship. You could build a ship and leave it there, but that's extra work you might never need to do. So I'll just leave the parts there, and if it ever happens, then I'll build a ship. Another problem in that game, and I talked to the developers about this, and it's something they're working on. This game is in pre-alpha. It's not even alpha. This is this game's brand spanking new, and they're working hard on it. Right now, what they're concentrating on is random world generator, which is yes, please. So anyway, they're working on it really hard, and they're they got all these things planned. But one problem is, if you have a ship, let's say you land on the moon, and your ship gets destroyed, and you have no way to spawn on the moon. You have no way to get that. Maybe your ship doesn't get destroyed. Let's say you land on the moon, and your ship gets disabled. It gets, I don't know, the generator gets blown out, and you have no way to repair it. You have no way to make a new generator, and you have no way to spawn on the moon. You're screwed. You will never get that ship off the moon, and here's why. Well, you can, but here's why. You would have to kill yourself, spawn... yeah.
Sorry to interrupt me, but everybody's going crazy in the chat telling you Proberts is trying to get a hold of you.
Okay.
Probably
okay.
a little late. We're in the middle of this already.
Oh, that's all right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back, and I'm gonna stop talking about Empyrion because there's two other things I wanted to. There's one other thing I wanted to mention though, and this is for you guys out there listening to me on Twitch, and for you guys, watching this on YouTube, and this is really important for me. You guys you don't have to do anything. I would appreciate if you would help me out. I'm looking for new games to Let's Play. I'm always looking for new games to Let's Play, but right now I'm looking for new games specifically more than any other time. You guys know what I like. Even if it's something you don't think I like, send me a message on Twitch, send me a message on Patreon, email me, tell me in stream, tell me on, any way you can get a hold of me to tell me about new games that are coming out. I've got 2 games right now that I've been looking at that I think I'm going to give it a try. I might even play them tonight. Interstellar Rift. Have either of you heard about Interstellar Rift?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Interstellar Rift is a kind of a realistic type space game where you never leave your ship. Okay, but you do all your managing on your ship. Like you run around your ship. Graphics are really nice. You run around your ship. You tell it to grab asteroids. It grabs asteroids and mines them for materials. And there's like a ship editor builder thing. I don't know how much content is in the game. It kind of makes me think a little bit about Stranded Deep and what's the other game? What's that other game? Subnautica, where there's not that. I know Subnautica just got updates, guys, so bear with me. But it kind of reminds me of those games. I don't know how much content's there, but I think I'm going to look into it because it looks pretty cool. And there's another game that just came out. This game might be a little bit too popular, but I'm looking at Shadowrun Hong Kong. I know you guys heard about that.
I haven't heard of that either.
It's a classic RPG.
Yeah, it's been around. Various versions of it have been around for quite a while, yeah.
Yeah, this has been like I think it says the 5th one.
This one?
There's also a game called Tree of Life. Have any of you heard of Tree of Life?
No.
Tree of Life is an MMO building game where it's totally open, and it looks really interesting. It's got a lot of cool game mechanic looks to it. There's 2 problems I have with it. From what I understand, and this is another game I might be playing on stream soon. One of the problems I have with it is that like I don't think you can go inside buildings. And that might be a problem for me. And I've also read that it's PvP and hacker, problems. Kind of like what people were saying about Rust. But, honestly, I never had any problems with the hackers in Rust either. So I don't know how much stock I put in that. But yeah, I've been looking at Tree of Life as well. So I'm looking for new games, guys. Let me know. And I've been hogging this section for too long. So, Probits, what have you been playing this week, man?
I've been playing a lot of Ark. I've got a single-player map, and I think I've got the XP upped up, and I've got the taming sped up to where it's comfortable to play, and I've been playing a lot of Ark.
How long would you say offhand it takes you to tame a turtle?
A turtle?
Yeah.
Their herbivores take a hell of a lot longer than a carnivore. Last night I tamed a level 2 carnivore in about 20 minutes.
What was it?
Level 2 carnivore?
No, but like what?
A carno.
Oh, a carno. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
I
not bad.
had a level 4, level 5 T-Rex, and I trained it in 30 to 40 minutes, but I was doing a lot of running back and forth and getting prime meat to speed it up a little bit. I've got the taming up to, I think, 3.5.
What do you kill for prime meat?
Right.
Argentavises, Stegosauruses, mainly stegs. But stegs, I got a pack of 4 raptors, so I don't have a problem going after a T-Rex or carnos.
Well, how do you like
Mainly
how do you
Stegosauruses when you're first starting out.
how do you kill them? Are you tranking them and then killing them when they're unconscious still, or?
Depends on what arrows I have. I try to keep about 20 or 30 narcs and stone arrows, and so it just depends on what I have left of what.
You just kite them?
Yeah, I just kite them back and forth. I just run a line back and forth. They're pretty easy to kite, and if I have tranks, then I'll knock them out. If I have a slingshot, stags are pretty easy to knock out with slingshots too. They're easy to kite. They're not fast enough to catch up to you, so you can just run back and forth. It takes a lot of rocks, but you can do it. I got me the new ape. That took a long time because that was just a pain in the ass. You kind of have to do a sneaky. It's a sneaky, non-violent tame where you're sneaking up behind them and feeding them berries like kind of like one of the dolphins. But so that took me about an hour and a half. But that was because I had about 3 or 4 times I had to run from his ass until he dropped aggro. But those are pretty cool. You don't have to saddle those. If you can find a low-level one of those in early game, they make a great mount. They're almost as fast as a raptor, and you don't have to have a saddle. You just ride.
And that's the gorilla thing you're talking about?
Yep. You just ride
as a mount? Like.
Yep. You're right on their shoulders.
Yeah, I wouldn't think a gorilla could be as fast as as a 4-legged creature.
Yeah, just.
Although to tell you the truth, raptors aren't 4-legged either. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But anyway, a lot of Ark. I've screwed around on Empyrion for a little bit. I haven't touched 7 Days to Die. And I've screwed around on Space Engineers for about an hour or 2 hours this week. But
what have you been doing on Empyrion?
I started a brand new world because I hadn't been on with all the last patches for a couple of weeks, and so I started a brand new world, and so looting the ship starting a base. Trying to expand my creative base building skills because I just don't have any, so I'm trying to work on that. Now, I haven't been into space yet, but shoot, since I started playing Empyrion, I haven't been into space yet. I'm not a type that gets into a game and tries to do everything within the first week, so I just take my time and I'm what I consider a casual gamer. I get on and I just play, and I'll get there when I get there.
Do you find the base building on Omicron fun?
I don't. Yeah, I mean, any game I've ever done, I don't mind gathering. I mine, I chop wood, I pick fiber, so the resource gathering doesn't really bother me. I don't find that a bore. What I do find, what I wish I could do better is get more creative, kind of like Endoms does when he does his mega builds on 7 Days to Die. You know, I wish I had the skills to be able to just build big elaborate buildings and stuff. But
did you make a land vehicle, or did you make a ship to get around on?
No, I went ahead and I repaired the escape pod. Instead, I didn't even worry about a ground vehicle. But after watching your video today, I might.
Yeah.
We discussed that a little bit.
If you're gonna leave Omicron and you're gonna go live in space or on another planet, you guys have to leave everything there that you need to make a vehicle to get you off the planet.
I am going to pretend that I'm reaching through the screen right now and patting you on the back, though. I was so proud of you. There was no rage. There was
well, you know,
not on camera anyway.
Yeah, it didn't happen right. It didn't happen right away.
Pre-alpha, I accept it. Got alert. I was like, Cage, he's channeling his introverts.
Yeah, that was I can't get mad about it. I wasn't prepared, you know. I had nobody to blame but myself, so it was fun though, you know. I actually liked learning and teaching people about that and stuff. And
I do want to say something too. I see a lot of comments going by in chat, guys. I will do updates when I can as far as how the wife's doing and everything, but I don't want to. I've had a hard week and I don't want to talk much about it right now, and especially because I'll break down, and I don't want to bring the mood down. Me and Cage have already talked a little bit too, and it's hard for me to talk about. But
sometimes when we get on here,
we'll do updates. So
we know you want to know what's going on, but sometimes when we get on here, sometimes it's just about escapism. You know.
There you go.
So, all right. Well, that's going to be it for what we've been playing. Or we're going to take a break, and then we will come back with our this week's topic. So see you then. Alright guys, and we're back, and the topic for this week is going to be Let's Play video game content, YouTube or Twitch. And I will bring it to you first, Pam. I know you don't make videos or stream, but I know you're involved with a lot of people who do. What do you think is important, mostly I guess for people starting off on YouTube and then Twitch?
You mean for the creators themselves? Not okay.
Like talk to someone who's come to you and says, I want to create content for YouTube and I want to create content for Twitch, and
coming up with a good format. I noticed that a lot of problems with you taking notes, Probert?
I was like, what's he doing? I thought he was drawing a picture or something.
I know. I was like, what the heck?
I'm gonna take notes. Sorry, babe.
Having a good format. I notice a lot of new people that just kind of jump in and just start mindlessly playing the game. And I shouldn't use the word mindlessly, but they jump in, start playing the game as they would play it by themselves, without really thinking of, what am I presenting to my viewers? Am I really doing this in a linear way? Am I really showing them what's best to start? Cage will start with the basics and the building blocks and build it up and work it along that way. Firecrow does the same thing. And I noticed that they get some really good Let's Plays that way, where a lot of other streamers I see come in and they just jump in, and all of a sudden you have them doing one thing, and then it's kind of like a squirrel moment and they're off doing something else, and then there's another squirrel moment and they're off doing something else. They don't really have a good format for how they're going to arrange their Let's Plays.
Okay. All right. What do you think about is that the basic tips you would give for someone on Twitch as well? Is Twitch any different in your eyes, or?
Well, Twitch is a little different because, again, people are looking at live gaming and they want the excitement. And I think with Twitch you can probably jump in and just, play at any point because people are coming and going too. They're not necessarily showing right up at the beginning, so they're not watching you from start to finish like they would a YouTube video. So it's a little less important to have a format, but still have some idea of where you're starting at and where you're going to for each show, so that you're not totally confusing the situation. I guess I've seen some streamers that really come out as more confused at the end with trying to show somebody something than people started out not even knowing about the game to start with.
Well, the nice thing about Twitch is you can learn the game as you play.
Right.
I feel on YouTube, unless you have that special personality or you're really naturally funny, if you're just like a normal person, I kind of feel like you kind of have to know the game before you start playing it, or at least have an idea. I feel like on Twitch you could just jump into anything and just start playing from the jump because people in the chat will be more than happy to help you. I call them wiki chat. So,
There you go.
Yeah. What do you think, Proberts? What is your experience on YouTube?
It was kind of weird. I mean, because I'm still new enough to. I mean, I started back in August, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do when I jumped into YouTube. I had an idea of watching people, and it seems like a lot of the people I was watching at that time, they'd just be playing the game, and they wouldn't be giving tips or why they do this or why they do that. And I thought that I might be able to jump in there and maybe add to that. And what I was really hoping for is my son wanted to start doing YouTube also, and I was really hoping that it would bring us together in some games of being able to play together more, which it didn't because he's got a different play style. But you got to know what you want to do. I see so many channels out there, and I'm partnered with Freedom. And not to talk bad about them, but Freedom is one of those networks that will take anybody, whether you have 1 subscriber or 1,000 subscribers. And so what Freedom ends up with, their idea is a lot of times with community forums and stuff like that, is you almost get a bunch of those 8, 9, 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds starting YouTube channels that get into that dead sub thing of sub to me, I'll sub to you, but then they never watch your videos. And they got the idea that the more subs, the better, which it's not. And I completely lost where I was going, but...
Well, subs, I'm not going to say subs don't matter because they do, but if you're doing sub for sub,
you don't want dead subs.
You're wasting your time, You
don't want dead subs. You want people watching you want your...
At that point, it's just a number, and it's a meaningless number at that. You don't get paid for subs. You get paid for views.
I know where I was going with that. But anyway, so I check out being with Freedom on their different forum sites and all that. I'll check out some of these YouTube channels that these kids are starting up and everything. And they're doing that. They're getting into the game, and what you find so often is somebody just sitting there playing a game. They're not talking. They're not doing anything. They're just playing the game, and that's it. And I don't know, maybe the millions of people out there on the internet, there's people out there that might enjoy that, but I don't think there's going to be it's very sparse. People watch YouTube because of some kind of hook, and I don't know that I want to call it hook because I'm genuine in mine. I don't do those derp moments on purpose. I'm in a hurry, I'm focused, I'm talking to people, I'm talking to a webcam, but in my mind, I'm talking to my subscribers. And so I'm not 100% focused, which tends to lead into funny moments that happen because of it.
Or derp moments, and people will call you out on it.
Yeah,
either way.
Which I don't mind. It's like, and a lot of time I'm going back. I've gotten to where I'll go back and put in text across my video when I'm editing because I'm like, kind of like when you watch somebody else's video, you see them do something and you yell at your screen. I'm editing and I see something and it's like, you idiot, and I could already see the comments, so I'll put the text and beat the comments there. but you got to have an idea of what you want to do. If you're starting these channels and everything like that, you got to know what you want to do, and you got to go for it. You got to get used to it, get past the idea of talking. You're not talking to nobody, because you are talking to somebody. They just haven't seen it yet. And
Yeah. I think that there's two ways you can go into YouTube. You can go in it to get rich and famous, and and be the next PewDiePie, or you can go into it just for yourself. And
have fun.
if you're going into it to be rich and famous next PewDiePie, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I know that's a very generic thing to say, but it's very true. Like, when I went into YouTube, I just wanted to make videos for myself to watch like 20 years down the line. And that's why I've kept every video I've ever made. I have every single video I've ever put on YouTube, except for the ones that I had to like bring over from Twitch that weren't recorded. I got to buy another hard drive soon. Like, I've got like 3 2-terabyte hard drives, and they're all full of videos. And I did it for myself, and there's been times when I've gone back and watched my old videos, and, sometimes it's really interesting, sometimes it sucks. A lot of times it sucks, because my old videos were pretty bad. But, I have to kind of disagree with you and Pam's. Maybe I'm misunderstanding where you're coming from, but I kind of think you should just jump in and do what you're gonna do. If you go in and you're not good and you're not taking it seriously, you're not gonna blow up, and you need to be prepared for that and be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, you need to take time to improve. And I kind of feel like instead of trying to make everything perfect, you should just jump in and start doing it. Watch your videos and just
I
improve
wasn't
them.
saying making everything in everything perfect and everything else. I went with YouTube. I can't, and I think I was saying somewhat along the same lines as Proverts. There are a lot of people that jump into YouTube without any forethought whatsoever. Just go in and play the game, and to me, there's not a lot interesting to watch. Some guy's face there, not saying a word. All I'm hearing is his keys tapping and watching the game run along. I don't know what's going through his head. I don't know what he's thinking about. I don't know what he's trying to show me. I don't know, especially if it's a game I haven't played, what's going on, that sort of thing. I'm looking for, one of the reasons people go to YouTube is for some entertainment. Now, like Probert said, maybe to some people, maybe there's a percentage out there that just watching a game with no sound, no commentary or anything else is entertaining to them. To me, I find it very unentertaining not to hear the person who's playing the game say something. But and there's where your difference between YouTube and Twitch comes in, because on YouTube you are talking to a webcam, so you've got to get it in your head that you are talking to an audience. That webcam is your audience, and eventually it's going to be backed by a whole bunch of faces. Whereas when you jump on Twitch, people come in your room and people ask a question or make a comment or say you should try this or you should try that, and give you something to kind of sound off of and interact with. So it makes the two venues a little different in that respect. So I think in some ways it's a little easier to jump into Twitch and get that parlay going with your viewers that you have to invent on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Twitch is more for the personality streaming. YouTube's more for the content.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned that a lot of times you watch YouTube videos and you see people just not saying anything and playing games. I gotta be honest, I don't see that like ever on YouTube. It might not be good commentary. They might just be blubbering, or whatever. But there's commentary there. I can't tell you how many times I've like watched someone on Twitch and they just don't say anything. Like, I try and look for someone playing this game or that game, and they're just sitting there being silent, and I'm like, man, you gotta talk.
In both places. Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't happen on Twitch. I've seen it on Twitch, just probably, you're right, probably even more than on YouTube. But I have hit it on YouTube where, in both, and I don't know, on Twitch, I say to myself, are they not talking because nobody's in their channel? And that's why I'll always do something like say hi and see if they'll answer me. If they don't answer me, I leave.
Yeah. I just feel like You know, guys, anyone who's watching this or wants to like get into YouTube or Twitch, just jump in and do it. I don't care if your stuff is good or not. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because you get in and then you watch your stuff back and then you figure out what you don't like about it. Are you taking it seriously? Are you taking it seriously, or are you just doing it as fun? If you're just doing it as fun, don't worry about it. Just do it and have fun. If you want to take it seriously and you're not happy where your sub numbers are, look at what you're doing. What are you doing wrong? Is your mic quality good? Is your content? What are you playing? Are you playing Grand Theft Auto 5? Because you're battling against a lot of big YouTubers if you're playing Grand Theft Auto 5. That's where we sit really well with these. Yeah, that's where we sit really well with these early access games. When I decide whether I'm going to do a Let's Play or not, something that goes into my decisions is, who else is playing the game and where are they on the search list. It matters. I mean, if it doesn't matter to you, if you don't care and you just love a game, by all means play it. But you're not going to get a lot of attention for it. It's not going to grow your channel that much, and you either be okay with that or you don't play that game. Like someone mentioned in the chat earlier, TerraTech. TerraTech looks awesome. It looks pretty good, and I might play it on stream. But when I do a YouTube search for first of all, playing any game that Blitzkrieger plays, you're just setting yourself up for failure, because that guy will pump out video after video. He's always on the search list. He's always high. He does his tags well. He does everything well, and he gets a lot of views. Not only that, but there's a lot of big people doing TerraTech, and I really think I would like TerraTech. I don't really know yet. I'm gonna play it. If I really really like it, I will probably do a series on it, but it's going to have to blow my socks off for me to do a series, just because there's so many big people out there doing that. That's why when we were talking earlier about Factorio, the fact that Factorio is not really that known makes it a prime candidate to play. Look for those games that are not being played that you think are good. Empyrion. If you do a search list for Empyrion, I'm on the top. And, that's just because these big guys aren't doing it. And thank God for that. I had Blitzkrieger ask me on Steam a few days before Empyrion came out, what do you think about Empyrion? And I was like, I love it. I'm going to be playing it. And I was worried. I was really freaking worried, because that's my competition. The guy's awesome, but he's my competition. And, I'm really happy he decided not to do it. So, find those niche games. How's your commentary? Are you talking intelligible, talking continuously and, talking about stuff of interest? Do you want to teach the game, or do you want to be funny? It all depends on what you want. And I would say, don't worry about anything. Jump in, give it a month, see where you're at, and then decide what you want and watch your past videos. Check yourself out on Social Blade, see what you're doing, and take it from there. But for the first month, I would say just jump in and start putting out content.
And don't stop learning. Don't stop learning. I spent 4.5 hours before I did my very first video in August. I spent 4.5 hours on YouTube watching how to edit videos with Sony Vegas, learning how to use it.
Oh yeah, that's another.
So one 30-minute video, I spent 4.5 hours just learning how to use it, and from there on, I kept learning. What can I do different? What can I do different? I learned about the free intros, or the one free. I spent $5 on my intro. Everybody loves my intro, and I just did a lot of research and do what you can to improve. Before I really knew Cage, I was just watching his videos, and I followed him on Twitter and asked him one day, do you have any suggestions? And he says, get you a better mic. I can hear you breathe. And
it's the biggest problem with headset.
I can't afford a Blue Yeti, but luckily my son, he loves spending $180, $200 on headsets, so I got his hand-me-down, which was a lot better than my $10 Walmarts.
It's the biggest problem with headset mics. I had the same problems on my early videos.
Be open-minded and never stop learning, but be patient. It will come. You're not going to get rich. You're not going to make it a job overnight. Cage has still got a job. He's got 54,000 subscribers, but he's still got a job that he has to go to, and still doing it. And
you can do it though. There's no reason.
Do it. You can do it. It takes a while.
There is no reason nobody watching this could not do it. This is not rocket science we're doing. Yeah. There's some inner things that people have in their personality that makes it easier for them. But if you study what it is to make good videos and stuff, you can do it too. And I would say also look for people to collab with around your subscriber count. I still get people now who are like, Cage, I just started up YouTube. Can we do a collab? And I'm like, I don't look down on people with 12 subs, but you look for someone around your grow with.
I got real lucky meeting with Cage and getting to play with Cage.
Well, you know what? I didn't even look at it as a collab with another YouTuber with you. I looked at it as a collab with a friend because we just started hanging out and we hit it off. So it's not
and we do have similar play styles. But I did, but that's another thing too. And I told Cage from the beginning, I'm not into this to get big. I'm not into this to make a job. I'm happy driving my school bus and making what I make, and this is just fun. And I'm into 100% and helping that man right there on my screen grow.
Yep. And if you want to be,
he does have a goal.
If you don't want to be big, I've got nothing to tell you. Just have fun and do your thing. If you want to be big, you got to be consistent too. You got to put up at least a video a day.
And besides, I have a ton of. I can't stream. I have a blast when I'm in Cage's chat, and sometimes I feel bad because I think I tend to take over.
That's all right. So. It's all good. But you got to be consistent. You got to put up multiple videos. I mean, honestly, if you could put up 3 videos a day, you're doing good. And I would just tell you guys, for those of you who want to edit, a lot of people don't even know this because I had someone tell me I recorded with Fraps and it was like a 15 gig file. You can't put that on YouTube. And I'm like, no, Fraps file is a lossless file. It's super high quality because it's so big. You have to run that through a rendering program. Windows Movie Maker is a free rendering program. OBS is a great recording tool. I didn't know how good OBS was. You can set up OBS to record. If you want to record with OBS, set up the kilobytes a second to 74,000, and you will get Fraps quality recordings, maybe even better. A lot of people said that they thought when I did that 7 Days to Die thing from the stream, they thought the quality was better than the Fraps stuff. So OBS is free.
And I swear by Shadowplay.
Shadowplay is also free. It came with his video card. Fraps is $37. What's the other one? DX Story is $37. And if you want to render them for free, Windows Movie Maker, I could use Windows Movie Maker today and probably not lose too much off my videos. But you have to learn what you want to render them in. Do you want constant bitrate or variable bitrate? You want constant bitrate.
Ian just helped me get Sony Vegas to the point to where I'm getting really good quality. And
you want
as long as it used to, and
my videos are constant bitrate at around 15 megabytes a second, and they're about 2.5 gigs files when they're done. That's for a 25-minute video, and that's the quality that I go at. And don't be depressed or upset if you do 7 Days to Die, and when people move around, when you play the video on YouTube, if you move around, everything gets blurry. That is a 7 Days to Die issue. Actually, it might be a Unity issue. I really don't know. To tell you the truth, it's a YouTube issue. YouTube has a really cheap codec that they use. It's kind of crappy for a lot of these games. It happens in 7 Days to Die. It also happens in the forest. Anytime you're running around with grass and stuff, it gets kind of pixelated. There's nothing you can do about it. Just if you guys want to do 7 Days to Die.
And I thought I saw somebody ask too. I am not recording my side of this, guys. I've got too much other stuff going on. I don't have time to record and then worry about uploading this. So I'm just here to be here with Cage and Pam. So.
And guys in Twitch, we are going to be doing the Twitch interaction section soon. So go ahead and start your comments now. Pam, did you have anything else to state about for you new YouTubers and new streamers?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So like I said, guys, get out there, start doing it. Do it for yourself to start off with, and then find out what you're doing wrong and fix it. You're going to be doing stuff wrong. There's no way around it. My first videos for like the first couple of years of my YouTube career, I started in 2010, the end of 2010, and my videos were shit until around 2013. I started taking it seriously with Feed the Beast. I started cut out the boring parts. If you're playing Fallout 3 and you have to go barter with somebody, cut that out. And another thing, people are going to tell you in your comments, I love it when you show everything. Continue showing everything. Guys, I love my commenters and I respect my viewers, but you might think you like it, but once I cut it out, you're going to like it even more. And
you're not going to miss it at all.
I had a lot of people telling me don't cut anything out, and I listened to them for a couple years of stagnant YouTube videos, and once I started cutting stuff out, I started growing, and people don't want to see it. Minecraft, if you're going to be farming stuff, in 7 Days to Die, if I'm going to be doing a mining thing, I'm either going to do a mine lapse or I'm going to cut it out. Nobody wants to see it, and I don't have anything to talk about. So cut that stuff out and get your mic quality and your video quality as good as you can, and try and teach. I like to teach. I think it's a lot harder and a lot more interesting to teach. Some people have a funny personality, and you guys can make people laugh. Then make people laugh. Whatever you guys want to do with your videos. So, all right, guys, we are going to move on to the interaction sections where we take questions from Twitch. So let's see what we got here. Anybody see any right off the bat?
Well, we did have that one comment from YouTube we were going to address.
Okay, what was
Did
it?
you want to do that first?
From Dread?
From Saranda D. Sward. Noticed that some YouTube channels had their big break with 7 Days to Die and started growing really.
No, that's YouTube. Right now we're doing Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to do YouTube first. I'm sorry.
I see one right here, Kentucky 6996. Old viewer from a long time ago. Where you been, buddy? He's back and he wants to know who the folks I'm talking to. Well, M. Proberts is a YouTuber that I do collaborations with, and Pam is Pam was here when you were around, Kentucky. That's Pam, co-owner of Kill Servers.
I like that. It's almost like it's Pam. Who is that?
Pam.
It's Pam.
Pam. I don't know any way to say
Pam.
it. Pam.
It's me.
All right. What else we got here? Let's see what else we got here. Dang it. On Empyrion, I haven't read this one yet, so hopefully it's a good one. On Empyrion, have you considered using the wreck as a starter base? Also, on the station, is it worth breaking down stuff? Well, let's take the first one. The wreck for a starter base. You could do that, but I think it's extravagant. I don't think you need to do it, and I would want to be as close to the escape pod as possible, so you can repair it and get off the planet.
I don't
So
know.
I would build.
Want to be on a base that sits at an angle.
Yeah, that is kind of irritating
That'd
as well.
drive me nuts.
As far as by the way, the developers of Empyrion have already stated you cannot fix the Titan and get it off the planet. So
It's a CV. If you build a CV into space and try to bring it to the planet, you're going to crash and burn and die.
well, it's already on the planet,
That
so I don't know
did.
what would happen if you started it up. Okay, what else we got? Also on the station, is it worth breaking down stuff for the rare components? Yes, it is. Serial, I'm sorry, but I completely forgot. I went to space bases like all over the place. I went to the one by the asteroids, and I went to the one on the moon. You didn't see the one on the moon because I lost that footage. But I didn't break up anything. I didn't even think about it. And yes, that was a mistake. You should definitely break up the stuff, especially the decorative stuff.
Cage, before you get too far into the game and stuff, Blackpoint's asked this 2 or 3 times. Doesn't YouTube render videos automatically when you upload it? They re-render it. Like if you upload it in the MP4, I think it converts it back to an AVI for YouTube purposes. And they do have their own like rendering program, but you have to upload all your itty bitty little segments. And I've never played with it, but to me it seems more
I
complicated.
don't know if you would actually call what they do rendering. I guess it would be rendering because they use they use an encoder.
Yeah.
I've talked to someone who knows a lot about this, or he told me he knows a lot about this. I don't know the person, but he said that they switched one like a year ago, and they're using a really cheap encoder, and that's why some of that stuff looks like crap. So I had a good one here. Okay, so how do you darn it, Twitch Doom Metal? How do you deal with hate comments? I cry myself to sleep at night. And I'm only partially kidding. Hate comments ruin my day.
I have to
ruin
shut
my
my phone
day.
off when I go to bed now because I got tired of the phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning from Cage. And
that guy just said my video was boring.
Cage,
It wasn't boring.
breathe. What?
I take. I'm like the typical content creator. I'll get like 50 things saying nice things, and then one person will say something bad, and I'll like freak out over it. And I'm trying not to, but it ruins my day. Like if I'm at work reading comments, like I'm like in a bad mood at that point.
Well, how many streams have we started out with? You'll be loading up the game, and you'll have come just from your Twitch channel and have read comments, and the first thing you're talking about is, "This bozo left me a comment and said this."
Yeah, it's I'm not saying you should ignore the comments, and you should ignore the hate because a lot of it can make you a better YouTuber. He mostly lays in my lap and cries. That's right, Autumn. Yeah. A lot of times, like, it just it gets me. I try not to let it, and eventually I get over it. But a lot of people don't realize.
Right now, laying in Autumn's lap, and
Eating
Autumn.
his ice cream.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
Eating his pint of ice cream, she said.
A lot of times you can use that to make your videos better, and you got to be able to pick out the ones that are BS and the ones that are legitimately something you could use to make your videos better, and that's the trick. And I respond to way too many hate comments, and sometimes I turn people, like, they don't expect me to respond. They're like, 54,000, so this guy's not, whatever, nah, you suck, why you suck, I hate you, and it's not like that. I usually don't respond to those, but it'll be like, that was boring, that was stupid, why did you do that? And then I'll get back to them and be like, I did it because of this, I did it because of that. Sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I messed up, I shouldn't have done that. Sometimes I'll give them a perfectly reasonable reason why I did what I did, and I'm not in the wrong. And then they come back to me and goes, oh man, like, this has happened so many times. Oh man, I didn't mean to come off like a dick. I was just saying this. And like they didn't expect me to read the comment, and they really didn't expect me to respond to the comment. So yeah, and when that happens, I feel it makes me happy. So, anybody see any interesting comments here?
That one hasn't caught my eye.
They're probably way up that we've gotten past.
Question here: do you want a skill tree, book recipe, or both?
Blake rocks. I muted my mic and asked him to make me coffee, and he did.
Aw.
I got the best family.
Do you want the skill tree, the books, or both? I think we're gonna get both. And I can't really. Yeah, I want both. I want it all.
No thanks, bud. Now I asked if I wanted some popcorn.
What do you think, Pam? Did you want skill trees, books? What do you think?
I think there's a place for both. I kind of like the idea of books, / recipes type of thing, but I see a really important need for skill trees because I see the need for them for the skill system. So I think, Ark has done it. Ark has both the recipes and the skill tree, and I can see both going on with 7 Days to Die.
Yeah, like you need to get to a certain point to learn it through experience, and then you can use the book. I would also like to see books reusable. I would like them to they're looking at Rust and Ark as a template for what they want to do to 7 Days to Die. I see that in a lot of ways. I don't know if it's true, but I get that feeling. With what they want to do with the skill tree, with what they want to do with getting rid of the crafting windows and how you can beat stuff to get the whatever you get from the animals or something. It reminds me a lot of Ark and Rust and stuff. And I think they should start looking more towards Project Zomboid. I want to see more Project Zomboid stuff. I like the way they handle their books in Project Zomboid a lot, and I think they could learn a lot from Project Zomboid.
I like the skill tree idea, and because I think that would add another depth to it of making the game last a little bit longer before you get to that point of, okay, what do I do now? It would add to that a little bit. Single player wise, multiplayer, it might not matter. It probably wouldn't matter because you'd have different people for different things. Single player wise, it would add to the depth of it, of having to be a little bit smarter in your decisions. But I'm really drooling for a story mode. I want to see the story behind the Duke and bandits.
Yeah,
And
we gotta get the Duke and the bandits in before we can have story mode for them.
The bandits are important.
I want to see that. I love story modes, and I'm hoping to God it's not a story mode that you can beat in a day.
Well, Valorial asked me an interesting question. What do you most want from Empyrion right now? I actually got in touch with the devs today, and I asked them. I said, I didn't know how to explain what I wanted, but for you guys who play Space Engineers, I want the projector. I want to be able to build a ship and keep a blueprint of the ship, and then be able to spawn in a ghost image of the ship, and then build it from the blueprint somehow. I don't know how.
Projector and Space Engineers.
Yeah.
Since I learned how to use that, I've used it big time.
You can spawn in the ship in creative mode if you want to spawn something in your survival game, guys. And this works but the developers have said you probably shouldn't use it because it could mess up your game. But if you want to use it, you go to where your Empyrion folder is. Okay, you go into the save folder, and you're going to have your world. Let's say world 1, and that's the world you want to spawn something in. Let's say you're caught on Omicron, and you have no way to get anywhere, and you're going to die repeatedly or have to restart your world if you can't spawn something in, like me. So you go to your save file and you have world 1. What you're going to do is you're going to open up Empyrion. You're going to start a game in creative mode and call it world creative mode. Just call it world creative mode. It's just easier. All right. Then you're gonna have in your Empyrion save folder world 1 and creative world. You're gonna open up both. Okay. You're gonna take the file that says it's not a folder. It's a file. It's called I think it's called world.dat or something .dat. It's the only thing in there that's not a folder. Okay. You're gonna take that .dat file out of your creative world. Or out of your survival world. Put it on your desktop or somewhere. Put it somewhere where you know it's going to be. Then you're going to take the DAT file out of your creative world and put it into your survival world. You don't even have to shut down the game to do this. All you have to do is stay on the first screen of Empyrion. And then once you've done that, you go to resume your game, and now your survival world should say creative at the end. You go into the world, you spawn in what you need, you leave the world, and then you put that DAT file that's in your now creative world, world 1 is now creative world, and you put it back in. I mean, you don't have to put it back, you can put it wherever you want, just save it for later if you ever want to do it again. And then you put your old DAT file back in there. If you're not sure what you're doing, back up your save file. If you're worried that you're going to ruin your world, the developers themselves have said this could mess up your world, just be aware of that. But yeah, that's something you could do.
I'm tickling Pam's forehead.
Anyway,
Why?
Anyway, for Empyrion, that's what I want. I want a projector. I want to be able to save my ship, and I don't want anything free. I don't want to spawn the ship in. That's what you can do in creative mode. I don't want to do that. I want to just have, like, in real life, when we make an F-16, we don't just make one F-16 and then wait for it to get shot down and then go make another F-16. We make an F-16 with blueprints. They make the blueprints first, then they build the F-16, and then they know how to build more. They build it in a factory even, and maybe we could do that later at some point. But for now, like, just blueprints. I don't want to have to... The most time-consuming, frustrating thing in that and space engineers is designing a ship. Not frustrating, it's fun. But if you go get it shot down, now you're pissed. Oh, I got to build another ship.
Trying to remember, especially if it's one that took you a while.
It was real detailed.
You've already built it, so you're not remembering. And it's like, oh, how did I do that? Oh, wait a minute. I had this working on my other ship. How come it won't work now? And the projector solves all of that. And plus, if you're not really creative, you only have to actually build it once.
Yeah.
Design it. And then use that same ship for every game. It's not any kind of cheating or anything like that, because you still have to have all the materials and you still have to build it
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I do want that, but if I'm going to be honest with myself, I want random gen more.
Yeah.
We need more planets too, not just random gen with 4 planets. We need random gen with a universe.
Empyrion,
That's what I want.
It was pre-alpha, now alpha.
It's still in pre-alpha.
Is it pre-alpha?
No, it says pre-alpha on the when you play the game. So
Yeah, extremely early access and stuff. And if you go into that game full core, it would not take you long at all to do everything that you can do in that game right now. And so I think you need to kind of take your time and explore situations.
Pam, did you have anything about that you wanted to talk about?
No.
Okay, because I wanted to get the minds of TG. Welcome back, man, and I do remember you. Will you ever play RimWorld again? I will play RimWorld again. That's RimWorld is such an enigma with me. I love the game. RimWorld is one of the very few games I can play that is really awesome because there is no downtime. There's no cutting stuff out. If I do a 25-minute RimWorld video, I record it for 25 minutes. That's what I put into the game. When you see a 25-minute video of like 7 Days to Die, it was really an hour because I had to farm something. Or, God, if you see Empyrion, I mean, it took me 2 hours to come back from the issues I had. But RimWorld is really nice because I just put my time in. I like the game. There's two problems with RimWorld. Number one, the fan base of RimWorld is rabid. If you don't do something the way they like it, they are going to let you know in very, very harsh terms, which, is fine. But, I mean, I'm pretty good at, like, they talk to me like I suck. I mean, I'm good at the game. I know how to play the game. They just don't like the way I play it because, like, I don't put people in... We've talked about this before. I don't put people in one-by-one rooms because the debuff you get for them being in the room doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm putting them in good rooms because I care about my people. I know it's not... but that's not the way they want it. It's not optimal. It's not min-maxing. And that's, they don't
They're
like that.
elitist about getting the most from the game to where you
Yeah.
throw a lot of RPG stuff in how you play.
Exactly,
Like
exactly.
you going off about me putting a campfire on a wood frame.
I was little digression here. I was watching Andam's one of Andam's videos recently, and he had a row of this mother effer had a row of boxes with campfires on top, or like forges on top of boxes, and then above them more boxes, and I'm just like, like, yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, so that and another thing with RimWorld is I don't get on the search list at all. Nobody watches it. Nobody watches me play RimWorld. And it was getting like really, really bad views and thumbs up. And for you guys who really like to watch me play it, I'm sorry, I really am. But I only have certain time to play. If I was doing this full time, yeah, you'd see RimWorld. You'd see RimWorld a lot. It's just I got to make tough decisions. And no, I'm not forgetting about RimWorld. And yes, I will play it again. All right. Do we see any Pam getting? What game did you and Pam and Proberts get into gaming? Pam, what game got you into gaming?
Oh man. Oh, probably Pong.
Yep, that's what I was just thinking. Pong and the Atari 2600.
600, yeah.
Space
And
Invaders
probably
and Pac-Man, baby.
Yep, yep,
Frogger. Pitfall.
yep. Pong. I'd say Pong.
Yep.
So, for me, I'm not going to tell you the first games I played, because those didn't really get me into gaming. When I knew I was into gaming, like, all the way, was Super Mario Brothers for the NES. I was playing stuff, like, at the arcades, like, I was playing, like, Centipede and Dig Dug and Pac-Man and stuff like that. And on the 2600, I was playing, all the games there, Moon Patrol and the Pac-Man on the 2600, which I didn't know was a bad game. Apparently it
Were
was.
you old enough to play those Atari 2600 there, Cage?
Yeah,
I
barely.
thought you would have grew up at least on the Nintendo.
I was 10 years old in 86, so it was more Nintendo for me. But my parents did have I didn't get the Atari; it was just lying around. I didn't even know what it was. Oh, what's that? So I started playing those games, and I went over a friend's house, and I saw Super Mario Brothers, and I was like, "How did they put that on a TV? How is that possible?" Oh,
That was the first real game I was hooked on, was Mario.
Yeah. I mean, that game just blew my mind.
In all truth and honestness, when you ask what got me into gaming, games were not something I was in. I was minoring. I was in college at the time, and my minor was computer science, and nobody talked about games or anything like that in computer science. And things like Pong started coming out, and Space Invaders, and it was such a new world that it really did. I mean, my whole focus went from writing a program to do a bank account management to how to make little figures run across a screen.
Yeah.
Yes, I am 38. One more question, because we do have to get going with this. I saw a good one. Let me see if I can... Okay. Actually, this isn't a question. This is a non-question, but I'm gonna bring it up anyway. Link Bomb said, question for you. Are you excited about Alpha 13? Of course I am. Do I know anything about it? No, I don't. We need to do some research this week, all of us, and next week I think our topic should be Alpha 13. So we will be talking about that next week, assuming I don't forget, which is probably a good... I'll probably be pausing the video and like saying, "Oh, what are we going to talk about? Oh yeah, let's go find out about Alpha 13." But I'm going to try and like learn about Alpha 13 this week, and I really should anyway. It's got to be coming relatively soon.
Joel's been dropping a lot of videos and pictures of hints.
Okay,
there ought to be plenty to talk about.
Okay, all right. Let's get into our last part of the podcast here, the YouTube comments. We've got some good ones. Okay, Bradley Miller. Can you talk about Minecraft and how many of these new indie games Wait, actually, what does that mean when it's someone's name and then the name in parentheses? That's kind of weird. I'll have to talk about that with you later, Pam. It says Bradley Miller, and then it says Coder 5452 in parentheses.
I don't know. That may just be his whole name. He may have parentheses in his name, as far as I know.
I'll have to check that out. Anyway, can you talk about Minecraft and how many of these new indie games are like it? Personally, I like quite a few of them. Minecraft opened the doors for all. I don't know how many of these games would be here. I'm sure some of them would be here, but Minecraft opened all the doors, and Minecraft is going to be a seminal landmark touchstone of gaming history, like up there with the NES and the PlayStation 2, and it's going to be. It might even be more important than the PlayStation 2, for what it's done for it. Maybe not so much on the consoles, I guess, but for PC gamers, it's opened up the doors. And I think if these developers, the Fun Pimps and I'm sorry, I don't know any of the developers, but the Space Engineers people, Empyrion, all these people, if they finish these games strong and break down the door and just start putting out more, it could be really, really huge. And it all started with Minecraft, the whole early access thing. I mean, I guess there was other games before Minecraft. I don't know of any that were early access. And it started the whole survival genre. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think that the crafting, survival, voxel-based, interact with the whole world thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I want to see some of these games finish to an end product and hit the shelves, because as soon as they hit the shelves, and especially when they go over to console, these games are just going to explore, and then we're going to see even bigger and better ones, like you are with all the first-person shooter games like CS:GO and what's the one that everybody on my friends list, Arma 3 and the Halo 5, all those type of games. I want to see my games go like that. I want to see the crafting, survival, voxel-based interact with everything in the world. GTA 5, man, I'd love to see GTA 5 where I could build my own stuff, add to.
Well, what about Fallout 4? They're starting to leak into Fallout
really
4.
Curious about it. As soon as Fallout 4 hits, I'm definitely going to be looking at some things and see if I'm able to spend the money on it, if I want to spend the money on it. I'm going to be looking at it. You got me curious about it, because I've never...
Yeah, my point is the building is leaking into Fallout 4. You could build your own house.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be looking at it, because there's just too much hype about it for me to ignore it.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Pam? What do you think?
I pretty much agree with what you said. I think Minecraft is going to be I mean, granted, Minecraft was not the first, but Minecraft was the one that blew up big.
What was before Minecraft? Because I don't know about any of these games.
I'm trying to remember the name, and
somebody said
scared
something. Infiniminer?
Something like that, yeah.
Infiniminer?
Dread Pirate Rhythmo, yeah. It came first, and basically Minecraft took it and ran with it, and Minecraft blew it up.
It's the same thing EverQuest did to Ultima Online.
Yeah. And but Minecraft will be known. Nobody's going to remember Infiniminer. I mean, look, I even forgot it. But they'll remember Minecraft. So, yeah, I think you're right, Cage.
Valorel actually is in the stream right now, and he actually left a comment on the YouTube video. By the way, the YouTube thing, for those who are watching this on YouTube, these are questions or comments from the previous podcast. So, basically what I'm asking you guys to do is you leave comments in the comments section of this YouTube video, and if it's something we like, we will, we'll answer it. Sorry. We'll answer it on next week's podcast. Valorel, damn it. Does anybody know how to say that name?
Valorel.
Valorel. Okay. If you want to test something new, test Evolve is very nice. Evolve. That sounds familiar. What's Evolve? Oh, that's that 4-player monster killing game. Okay.
Yeah.
3 months, 4 months, maybe.
Kind of
yeah.
What's that other game we used to play? It was just like it. Damned?
Yeah, Damned. He also said Space Engineers, Star Citizen. I need to look. I don't know anything about Star Citizen. I want to know about that. And then he mentioned a free-to-play game. Now, free-to-play is a dirty word for me, but I won't stay away from them. But
Because they
Star
usually
Con-
end up costing you somehow.
Yeah, too many of them are free to play, but then you need to buy this and buy that and buy that. And that's
Star Conflict. Do you guys know about that game?
No, I don't know about that game.
What is Star Conflict on Steam?
I've seen it. Yeah, it's on Steam. I've seen it.
Okay, all right.
It
Remind me
has
about
caught my
that.
attention.
Remind me about that. I'll definitely check that out.
I gotta let everybody know, Cage, because I don't want to drop this and stuff, and I'm going to keep you on it. And Pam's in the channel too, but they'll be the one to kind of help set it up.
There you go.
am trying to get Cage, everybody. We want to get friends together to do it, but I'm trying to talk him into a survival of the fittest for Ark.
I already agreed to it. Pam and I talked about it earlier.
He's agreed to it.
Or was that me and you? I don't remember if it was me.
Everybody think about it. That was me.
Yeah.
That was me.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna happen as soon as it gets set up on the server. We will be doing
we've
that
already
for sure.
got a server set up that you can do it on, so that you don't have to go through the whole modding process on the server because it's very complex right now.
Okay, so we need to talk. We need to get. Will you play, Pam, or?
Yeah.
All right, and Proberts will play. So we need to get 7 other people.
Blake said he'd play too. Blake
Okay.
said he'd do it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we'll talk about that later. Hey Cage, when you were talking about paint for 7 Days to Die, I had a great idea. It would be awesome if you could use paint on windows to make zombies can't see. I feel as long as you are quiet there, you are not carrying something. Okay, he's talking about paint on the windows, and I was under the assumption that zombies can't see you through windows anyway, can they?
They can see you through. They can see you through windows that aren't boarded. Once you get the boards on them, once they get the boards on them, they can't see through. So boarded is the same as being painted over. And
Yeah, so you might as well just board them.
Comment too.
Oh, I'm on YouTube comments.
Yeah, you missed a comment though.
Did I? Hold on
Yeah.
a second.
One right above that.
Oh, ours might not be. Ours are not in the same order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh God. Do you want to try that name? Chris Zaranda D. Schwartz?
Krazanda D. Schwartz, I think.
Yes, that person. Hey, Cage, so I've noticed that some YouTube channels had their big break. They did big break in parentheses. With 7 Days to Die and started growing really fast and have dropped 7 Days to Die for games with more hype like Ark. Do you think you will ever drop 7 Days to Die for a game that gets more views? And what is your opinion on Let's Players dropping 7 days for games with more hype? I feel like this is talking around Star Sniper Royal, but without mentioning their names. You know, Star Sniper Royal never got big on 7 Days to Die. They got big on The Forest, Rust, and Ark. 7 Days to Die was pretty cool for their channels, but it was nothing compared to what they're getting on other stuff. Would I drop 7 Days to Die? No. I love 7 Days to Die in a way that Star Sniper Royal never did. It's my game. Yeah, and when I say it's my game, I don't mean like I'm the... Some people say, Cage, you always say this is your game. You're not even that good at it. First of all, I am that good at it. And second of all, I never said I was the only person that was good at it. There's lots of other good Let's Players out there. I play with some of them in an Empyrion series. So yeah, there's a lot of good 7 Days to Die players. It's not my game, as in I'm the best at it. It's
check on the Wi-Fi.
okay. It's my game in the way that that I love it. It was made for me. It was like the Fun Pimps looked in my brain and said, "Let's make a game for that guy." You know. So that's why I say it's my game. Would I ever drop it? No, because it's really good for my channel. And even if let's say, you know, hypothetically speaking, Empyrion blows up and I start getting more views on Empyrion than 7 Days to Die. Why would I stop playing 7 Days to Die? I love it. They don't love it like I do. They love Ark, and they love what they're getting from Ark. So they're going to keep doing Ark. I can't think of any... I check the search results a lot to see where I am on 7 Days to Die. And I don't know of anybody who was small, blew up on 7 Days to Die, and stopped playing it. If anybody in Twitch chat knows anybody like that, let me know, because I know there's been a lot of big YouTubers doing 7 Days to Die and they've dropped it, but they were big beforehand.
Right.
I know Andems and Games for Kicks are doing really well with 7 Days to Die. Their channels are healthy, but they haven't dropped them. And you know, I wouldn't say it's blowing up their channel. They're kind of where I was last year or a year ago, 2 years ago when I first started. You are the first Cage. You heard it here first. Cage has officially dropped 7 Days to Die. Confirmed. Call me Shadow Man. Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't know of anyone big that's dropped 7 Days to Die. So.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone that was little, got big on 7 Days to Die, and then dropped it.
what I meant. Markiplier dropped 7 Days to Die, but he didn't get big on 7 Days to
And
Die.
Days to Die, right? Yeah.
So, I don't know where, damn, I can't think of the guy's name. I don't know where Rhino Crunch was before 7 Days to Die, but I'm pretty sure he was just as big.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, because Rhino Crunch just got out of 7 Days to Die right when I started playing it, because he was the first videos I watched.
I gotta
Right.
go, KJ.
And he
Wife's
got-
getting
Okay.
sick and everything. She needs me.
Okay. All right.
Later.
See you later,
everybody.
Proberts.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah,
let's see.
he was kind of a larger name at the time, which is why he got the benefit of getting some advanced copy and got to do some of the initial first look videos for 7 Days to Die when they first released. But he didn't blow up because of 7 Days to Die. He was already a pretty big streamer at that point, or YouTuber at that point.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so we got one last YouTube comment, and this is a long one. This guy seemed pretty cool, so I'm going to read his whole comment because he was awesome. The Max 2 Go. I just watched this podcast. I have to say, this is actually very interesting. You guys gave some input on future things to come in various games and some great ideas. I'll put this one in my favorites list. He's responding to us talking about quality of weapons and how they look last podcast. The models should be different in 7 Days to Die, 7 Days to Die based on their quality. That could actually be very quickly done from a developer's perspective because I see it from a real life perspective. For example, a faulty weapon stock could be held together with some nails and tape. So basically, that's overlaying textures on top of the gun stock. The same can be done with other item parts, plus putting in some images of rust that can be easily scaled. Rotted and places in game, plus the material params, in simplistic terms, shininess, can be on the fly changed without a problem. Having used 3D modeling software and have done some 3D programming extensively, I know that these are things that can be done easily implemented and effectively applied. No need to create a separate 3D model or even whole textures. So yeah, this guy's talking about. Basically, it's not as hard as we think. I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with that totally.
Yeah.
Because of course I do 3D modeling and graphics, and it may or may not be, yes, depending on how your code is set up, because it's not just pretty pictures that go in there magically and do things. You have code behind it that shows this picture up or this overlay up or whatever, shows this texture on, and knows that, okay, it's a faulty one, so I have to show this texture. It's a flawless one, I have to show this texture. So it's not as easy as just swapping out a texture. So it may or may not be as easy, and it might. I know the Fun Pimps have kind of stayed away from doing these different levels of, making a pitchfork or making a shovel look all beat up and then making it look better and better and better, depending on what it is. And I think it is because of the graphical hooks in the game. It's not, in their case, it's not an easy thing to do.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to pretend to know about any of this stuff, so just take your word on that. And on top of that, another thing I'd like to see implemented is that the model, their material and its textures for each tool slightly change during usage. So you have more than just a health bar that progressively goes down. Yeah, it sounds pretty complicated. Yeah. All right. So he said, sure, these games are still all labeled early access / alpha, but in my humble opinion, these are things that are very fast and easily implemented and super effective, adding a whole new level of realism and immersion factor. Thank you very much for the comment. No question in there, but I just thought that was an interesting comment, so I definitely wanted to read it. Okay, and I think that is the end. Do you have anything to say before we go?
No, I don't think so. Nothing that pops into mind right away.
Okay. Twitch is wine. When you want to say someone's on drugs, you don't say they're in drugs. You say, I think he's on drugs. Just letting you know. All right, guys. So that's gonna do it for this this episode. What should I call this? Yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Sure, why not? That's gonna do it for this episode of the Let's Play Games podcast, and we will see you next week. Take it easy.
Bye-bye, everybody.